Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ. In this video, I will bring to you the banking awareness current for the entire month of May. This will be around 1 hour long video. In English, let's start the video. What is the meaning of the word evergreening of loans? Now, you must have heard the word greenwashing, where a brand claims environmental benefits of using their product, but that is not true. So that is called greenwashing. Usually greenwashing is done by the brands to claim easy, cheaper loans, in the name of environment or ESG factors. But evergreening is completely different. What is evergreening? So I will explain to you what is evergreening. So let's say a person has taken a loan from a bank for 1 crore and he has not paid it back in 90 days. So it will become a non-performing asset. So what the bank, and if it becomes non-performing asset, then it is a problem for the bank because bank has to be Basel III norms compliant. So what the bank can do, sometimes what the banks do is they give this person a loan just before the completion of the 90 days. They give him another loan. Let's say they will give him a loan of another 1 crore, right? Now what will happen is this person will pay back the previous loan with the help of this new loan. So this is called evergreening of loan. The loan will become evergreen, and banks do it so that their non-performing assets remain less. But sometimes there is a problem. The problem is that you gave him a loan of 1 crore and let's say you give him another 2 crore loan or something. A lot of times it keeps getting add up because in this time there is a significant interest also that must have been accumulated. So he can't pay back the entire thing. And Reserve Bank of India is very worried because a lot of banks are doing it to show good books. So this is called evergreening of loans. So evergreening of loans is what? Evergreening of loans is essentially a phenomena where, it is a temporary fix for a bank. When an account turns into non-performing asset, the banks, they make higher provision. They give more loan to a person and just to be Basel III compliant or show themselves that they are better than other banks because there is a lot of competition between the banks. So all these words, when they come in news, evergreening, they are important. I will give you one example. Now this time, this word greenwashing came in UPSC prelims paper. Exact same word. What is greenwashing? And 4 options were given. In UPSC 2023 prelims, this question was asked. So that is why I am telling you, remember what is evergreening. Now let's talk about which bank was the best performer in the financial year 23. So financial year 23 ended on 31st of March 2023. This you know by now. So which was the best bank in terms of the growth in loan and deposit? So in both it was Bank of Maharashtra. In fact, since I have been teaching for the last 4 or 5 years banking awareness, it is always Bank of Maharashtra. So Bank of Maharashtra is the top performer with respect to the percentage increase in the loan and percentage increase in the deposit. And be careful in percentage terms, obviously, because if you say that which bank has the maximum loan, obviously it will be SBI. If you say which bank has the maximum deposit, obviously it will be SBI, State Bank of India, right? Among the public sector banks. So among the public sector bank, but if you talk about the percentage growth, then it is Bank of Maharashtra. So Bank of Maharashtra emerged as the top performer among all the 12 public sector banks in terms of the loan and deposit growth. It is headquartered in Pune, and let me show you some data. So in fact, in profitability also, maximum growth was shown by Bank of Maharashtra. Again, when I say profitability, percentage. So the profit of the bank increased by 126%. Okay, profit is bottom line. And there is another word called top line, which is the revenue, and you take out expenses, that becomes profit or the bottom line. So profitability or bottom line increased 126%. So in 1 year, the profit was 2,602 crore rupees. And if you take all the public sector banks together, then they recorded 57% jump in their net profit. The total profit of all the public sector banks put together exceeded 1 lakh crore. It was 1 lakh 4,649 crore in financial year 23, and all of this data has recently been published in the yearly numbers of public sector banks. So if you talk about the gross advances, what is the meaning of gross advances? It is loan. Loan means gross advances. So Bank of Maharashtra recorded 29.4% jump. How much loan did they give? In entire 1 year, at the end of March, it was said that in the 1 year, financial year 23, they gave loan which is 1,75,120 crore. Now this figure you don't have to remember, but this you have to remember. Okay. So Bank of Maharashtra in terms of the loan growth, highest 29.4%. Second was Indian Overseas Bank. Indian Overseas Bank was 21.2%, and third was UCO Bank 20.6%. Obviously, in absolute terms, I am not talking about percentage now. SBI gave maximum loan. So 27 lakh crore, that is like what, 16 times more, right, compared to Bank of Maharashtra. Obviously, there is no comparison. SBI is SBI, right? So in absolute terms, obviously, SBI gave the maximum loan in India in one financial year, but in terms of growth, it was Bank of Maharashtra. Now let's talk about deposit. In deposit also, Bank of Maharashtra had a significant growth. You can see 15.7% more compared to the deposit it had last year. So the total deposits it had was 2,34,083 crore. This is the total money that the public of India put into Bank of Maharashtra as deposits, both current and saving deposit, CASA. So 15.7% growth was seen in Bank of Maharashtra in the deposit. In deposit, second was Bank of Baroda, 13% growth, right? And Punjab National Bank was the third. In Punjab National Bank, 11.26% growth was seen in the deposits. Understood? And the total business growth, when we say total business is both lending as well as deposits. Total business growth was also highest for Bank of Maharashtra. It was 21.2%. So MCQ can come definitely. Now let's talk about frauds. So in the financial year 23, recently RBI gave their annual report, and one section was dedicated to frauds. So banks witnessed maximum number of frauds in digital payment category. So this was said recently. And in financial year 23, the total number of fraud cases, make it financial year 23. So the total number of fraud cases in the banking system were around 13,530 in 1 year. And 49% of these were in the digital payment. Now, whether that is digital payment through the card or digital payment through the internet, doesn't matter. It was in the digital payment. So 49% almost, or 6,659 total number of frauds were this, and 49% frauds were related to digital payment. Is that understood? And what was the amount? So total amount of fraud was 276 crore in the digital payment category, right? And if you do analysis of the last 3 years, of the frauds, you will find that the maximum number of frauds happen in the private sector bank. But if you talk about the amount, public sector banks continue to contribute maximum to the fraud amount, because in the private sector banks, yes, the number of frauds are more, but they are very small ticket size. Small frauds are there. But in the public sector banks, the frauds are very big. So the amount wise, they contribute maximum, the public sector banks, to the number of, not number, but amount of frauds, right? Okay. And small value card or internet frauds contributed maximum to the number of frauds reported by the private sector bank. And the fraud in the public sector bank are mainly related to loan portfolios, as expected. Now let's talk about currency in circulation. Okay, this was again in the RBI report recently. Currency in circulation. So the value and volume of the banknotes in circulation. What is the difference between value of banknote and volume? Value is the total value, right? For example, let's say if you have 10 notes of 500 rupees, so total value is 5,000, but the total volume is 10 notes. Okay, so volume is the total number of notes, and value is the total value what these notes have. So the value of the banknote in circulation increased by 7.8% and the volume increased by 4.4% in the financial year 23 as per the RBI annual report. Now, if you talk about the total value which banknote contributes to the maximum to the total value, of course it is 500 rupee note. So 500 rupee note contributes 500 and 2000 rupee banknote contribute 87.9% of the total value of the banknotes in circulation. And out of these 500 rupee notes contribute maximum. So it is the 500 rupee note that is like, the mainstay of the Indian economy. 500 rupee note and 2000 rupee banknote together, they are 87.9% of the total value. And 2000 banknote is approximately, as per RBI figure, around 11 or 12%. So most of it is 500 rupee note only. And if you talk about in volume term, then again it is 500 rupee note which constituted the highest share. That means that 37.9% of total notes which are in circulation are 500 rupee notes. Okay, 37.9% of the total notes in India are 500 rupee note. That is the meaning of volume. Followed by rupees 10 denomination banknotes which constituted 19.2% of the total banknotes in circulation as on March 31, 2023. So which is the second highest volume of note? It is 10 rupee note. 10 rupee note are 19.2% of the total banknote in circulation. And you can see here that 500 rupee notes, how many 500 rupee note are there? They are 5.16 lakh, 2 times lakh, 5,16,338 lakh. So 5 lakh. Okay, and total value of this. So total, this is the total notes. You multiply it by 500 and this is what you will get. It is 25 lakh crore. 25 approximately lakh crore is the value of the 500 rupee note in our circulation. But you can ignore these numbers, and you don't have to remember also. All you need to remember from MCQ point of view is that the maximum number of notes by volume is 500 and by value is also 500. Now the banknote in circulation. So currently which are the notes banknote in circulation? So 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500 and 2000. Now very soon 2000 rupees, although they are legal tender, but RBI is discouraging their use. And what are the coins in circulation right now? 50 paisa, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 and 20. These are the coin denominations which are in play at the moment. And e-rupee is also increasing. So e-rupee wholesale, that is CBDT wholesale, which is available only for a select organization, was around 10.69 crore total. And e-rupee retail was around 5.7 crore. Okay, at the end of the financial year 23. Now let's come to Reserve Bank of India's half-yearly report on management of foreign exchange reserves. How much foreign exchange reserve do we have? Approximately $580 billion. And out of $580 billion, gold is around $45 billion. Okay. So gold, if you do the calculation, gold is around 8% of our forex reserves. Okay. And how much gold we have? We have 794 metric ton. 794 metric ton is the gold that the Reserve Bank of India has. Last year we had 760. When I say last year, I mean at the end of financial year 22, we had 760. At the end of the financial year 23, we have 794. So we have added 34 metric ton of gold. And this 794 metric ton of gold is valued at $45.2 billion. So if I give you a rough estimate, so total forex reserves, if you want to know the exact number, it is $578 billion at the end of financial year 23. If you see today, of course, the value will be very different. This value changes every day. So roughly it is around 580, you can say $580 billion is our forex reserve. The maximum out of it is the foreign currency asset, around $520 billion. Gold is around $45 billion. Special drawing rights at the IMF are around $18.5 billion and reserve position in the IMF is around $5.2 billion. So total is around $580 billion. And these are the exact figures at the end of the financial year 23. Gold is 794 metric ton, valued at $45.2 billion. Then, and you know, most of the gold, 794 is the total gold that we have. 437 metric ton out of this, which is more than half, is we have kept it safe in the Bank of England and Bank of International Settlement, right? And remaining is held domestically. Understood now? So let's start the MCQs. Which of the following company has unveiled its chatbot, which is known as GigaChat? So it has been launched by Bank. Bank is the largest bank of Russia. It's a very large bank, and this chatbot is trained in English, it is trained in Russian language, and it's a very important step, right? ChatGPT is not available in Russia. Russia always rejects the Western technology. Understood? So Bank has launched chatbot called GigaChat. Who among the following has been appointed as the Managing Director and CEO of the Bank of India? Bank of India, so it is Rajneesh Karnatak. He is appointed as the Managing Director and CEO of Bank of India. And Bank of India is headquartered in Mumbai, right? It was started in 1906. Margarita Delle Valle has been appointed as the first ever female and the permanent CEO of which telecom company? So this is a British telecom company. It is known as Vodafone. The answer is Vodafone. In India, Vodafone Idea, you must have heard, they even operate in India. So Vodafone permanent CEO will be Margarita Delle Valle. Which of the following has become the third major American bank to fail after the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank? So which is this bank? This is, of course, very easy question. First Republic Bank. First Republic Bank. Is that clear? So in America, which banks have failed? First Republic Bank, which is based in San Francisco in California. Then Signature Bank failed. Signature Bank is based in New York. And one more bank failed, which is the Silicon Valley Bank. Now Silicon Valley Bank is headquartered in Santa Clara in California. Santa Clara in California. Is that understood? So San Francisco is a city in California, and Santa Clara is also a city in California. So who has purchased them? Has someone purchased them or nobody has purchased them? So I will tell you. First Republic Bank. Let me first tell you about Silicon Valley because it was the first major bank to fail. It has been purchased or acquired by First Citizens Bank. First Citizens Bank. First Republic Bank has been acquired by JP Morgan Chase, right? And Signature Bank, it is yet to be acquired fully. It is yet to be acquired fully, but there are reports that, it will be acquired by New York Community Bank Corp. Bank Corp is a kind of a corporation, Bank Corp, which is based in New York. And then they will convert it into a bank known as Flagstar Bank. The Bank Corp community. So they will convert the Signature Bank into Flagstar Bank after the acquisition. So these are reports. It's more or less done, but it has not been made official yet. So these are the three major banks to fail in America. Which of the following organization has released the Future of the Jobs Report 2023? It is a very important report released by the World Economic Forum based in Cologne in Geneva in Switzerland. And in this report, data related to jobs has been written. So as per this report, 1/4 of the jobs which are known to the humankind will get wiped out by 2027, right? How? So basically 69 million jobs will be created by 2027, but 83 million will get eliminated. So 14 million jobs will be lost during this period. And this is because of artificial intelligence, machine learning, ChatGPT like things. So that is what, right? So 69 million new jobs will be created by 2027. 83 million jobs will be eliminated. So we will have 14 million jobs that will be completely like lost, during this period. So this is one figure, and these are some fastest growing jobs. If you are a specialist in artificial intelligence, sustainability specialist, business intelligence, and these are declining jobs. Okay, so these are the jobs which are under decline. Who among the following has been appointed as a managing director of Bank of Baroda? Bank of Baroda, the answer is Debdatta Chand. Debdatta Chand for 3 years, right? And the appointments are done by FSIB, Financial Services Institutions Bureau. So the answer is Bank of Baroda, which is based in Vadodara. In Gujarat. According to the recent data by the Reserve Bank of India, which of the following state has emerged as the state with the highest market borrowings? So for the last few years, in fact for third year in a row, the market borrowings of Tamil Nadu are the highest. Tamil Nadu. So even for the financial year 23, and this is a data from April to February, Tamil Nadu borrowed around 68,000 crore from the market, right? So Tamil Nadu's gross market borrowings through the state development loans stood at 68,000 crore. In fact, in the financial year 24, Tamil Nadu plans to borrow 1,43,197 crore. So even for the financial year 24, I am very sure that Tamil Nadu's borrowings will be very large. Is that understood? It was informed that annual finance Nimla, she will participate. Nimla Sitharaman will participate in the annual general meeting of the Board of Directors of Asian Development Bank. It was held in which country? It was held recently in Incheon, and Incheon is located in South Korea. So what is the answer? The answer is South Korea. The answer is South Korea. And Asian Development Bank, it was set up in 1966. This was their 56th meeting. And they have committed around $25 billion to India for the next few years. And recently, they gave a lot of loans to India as well. The Vice President of ADB is who? Vice President is Ashok Lavasa. So Indian is the Vice President of ADB. Which of the following organization has released Business Ready Project? This is a project by the World Bank Group. And they want to assess the business and investment climate in the economies worldwide. That is what they want to do. So they have started Business Ready Project. They will assess 180 countries. So this is, you can say, a substitute for ease of doing business, because World Bank used to publish ease of doing business report, but they shut it down because there were some miscalculations and there were allegations of corruption and all of these. So they shut it down. So this is more like a replacement for ease of doing business. Which of the following organization has released the Regional Economic Outlook Asia and Pacific May 2023 report? So this is a report which is released by the International Monetary Fund. The answer is IMF. Regional Economic Outlook. In fact, most famous report of IMF is the World Economic Outlook. So this is their Regional Economic Outlook. And what do they say? Well, they say that the growth in the Asia Pacific region, these days we use the word Indo-Pacific, but Indo-Pacific word is still gaining popularity. The technically accepted word is Asia Pacific. So Asia Pacific, the growth in this area will be 4.6% in 2023 calendar year. In 2022, it was 3.8%. This is the growth, overall growth in the Asia Pacific. And Asia Pacific region will contribute 70% to the global growth. This is very important. And most of the growth will be led by, of course, India and China. India and China. Is that clear? So what do they say for China and India? How much growth will be there? Well, they say that China will grow at anything around 5.2%, right? And India will grow at around 5.9% in the calendar year 2023. So India's growth in calendar year 2023 will be 5.9%. India and which of the following country they have agreed to explore the possibility of accepting each other's payment card, Rupee and Mir. So Mir is Russian, Rupee is Indian. So we want to have this collaboration. So recently there was a meeting done. This meeting was known as IRI GCTEC or Internal Government Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological and Cultural Cooperation. This meeting happened recently, and mutual acceptance of the Rupee and Mir card will facilitate the transaction in Indian rupees as well as the Russian currency, which is ruble. Is that clear? So this is what they want to do. Vivad se Vishwas relief to MSME scheme was in news recently. It was launched by which ministry? So this is a scheme of the Ministry of Finance. Vivad se Vishwas scheme for the MSME. It was launched by Finance Ministry, and it started on 17th of April 2023 for this year. So it is not a new scheme, right? It is not a new scheme, but they keep extending it. So for this year, it will be from 17th of April and till 30th of June. Till 30th of June. So this is the window for accepting the claim submission. Basically, Vivad se Vishwas is an alternate dispute mechanism, right? If you are a MSME, you have not paid your taxes, or you have taken some loans but you have not paid them back. All these problems you can sort out. This is called Vivad se Vishwas. So if you pay to the government, you are honest about it, government will not take any action. Government will give you some refunds, government will give you some subsidies. So that is what this scheme is about, right? Or if you are a MSME who has taken a contract, you have taken the payment but not executed the contract, or something, basically if you have committed any civil crime, then you can inform the government, you can pay whatever you have to pay, and government will not take any action against you. Is that understood? So that is what is Vivad se Vishwas relief to the MSME scheme. Niti Aayog has released the best practices in social sector report in collaboration with which organization? So they have collaborated recently with United Nations Development Program, UNDP, best practices. And in this report, there are 75 case studies which are across 14 sectors, 14 social sectors. So 75 best practices are put in this book so that others can also replicate. Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IIFT, New Delhi, celebrated its Diamond Jubilee. It is an autonomous body under which ministry? It works under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It is one of the best MBA colleges also in India. So it was set up in 1963 and it has completed 60 years. So 60 years is also known as Diamond Jubilee, right? So remember that. Which of the following company has announced the second edition of its Startups Accelerator Women Founders Program in India? This is a program, very famous program by Google. The answer is Google. Google has also launched their artificial intelligence chatbot called Bard, and it aims to enable women entrepreneurs in India who are using technology to solve complex problems. So that is what they want to do. Startup Accelerator Women Founders. According to the recently released world's 10 highest paid athletes list by Forbes, who is the highest paid athlete in the world? You can see Cristiano Ronaldo is the highest paid athlete in the world. His annual income is $136 million. Second is Lionel Messi, and third is Kylian Mbappe. Fourth is LeBron James. So top 3 highest paid players are football players. Which of the following organization has released the Chief Economist Outlook report? Chief Economist Outlook, this is a report which has been released by World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum. What does this report say? So this report says that 63% of the economists in the world say that 2023 will have a recession. So they are saying that 63% of the economists are saying that there will be recession. There will be supply chain changes in the countries. All of these things they are saying. Who has become the next president of the World Bank? It is Ajay Banga, Indian born person, former chairman of MasterCard. So he will replace David Malpass, right? Right now, Ajay Banga is an American citizen, right? So he's an American citizen since 2007, and David Malpass was also an American. Ratnagiri Refinery and Petrochemical Limited was in news. It will be world's largest refinery once completed. Where is it coming? It is also known as Barsu Refinery because it is coming up in a village called Barsu in Ratnagiri in Maharashtra. The answer is Maharashtra. And once completed, it will be the largest refinery in the world. Understood? And this region is very famous for the geoglyphs. This place is known as Barsu Solgaon. It is very famous for the rocks and geoglyphs, and it is also included in the tentative list of the UNESCO's World Heritage Site. And investment will be around 3 lakh crore. You can call it West Coast Refinery also. So who is who is the owner? Lot of companies. So 50% stake will be of these two companies. The largest company, Aramco. Like Aramco is the largest oil and gas company in the world. Aramco is a Saudi company. And there is a company from UAE called Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, or simply ADNOC. They will have 50% stake, and the remaining 50% will be by the Indian companies Hindustan Petroleum, Bharat Petroleum, and Indian Oil Corporation. Understood? According to the recently released National Manufacturing Innovation Survey, which of the following is the most innovative manufacturing state? So, National Manufacturing Innovation Survey is done by which ministry? This is a very important question. It is done by the Department of Science and Technology, which works under the Ministry of Science and Technology in partnership with UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization. So that is this survey, right? And so this survey says that Karnataka is the most innovative state in India in terms of manufacturing. Karnataka was followed by Dadra Nagar Haveli. Here you can see. So Karnataka, you can see ranking was 1. Dadra Nagar Haveli ranking is 2. Telangana ranking is 3. Tamil Nadu is 4th. So these are the best performing states. Union Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, they have set a target of how much amount for the production of food grains for the year financial year 24. Our target for food grains this year is 332 million tons. The answer is option A, 332 million tons. And what is the target for millets? The target for millet for the current financial year is 170 lakh tons. Now this is lakh ton, not million ton. So if you want to convert in million, just say 17 million tons. This is our target for millets. This is our target for millets. Understood now? And we are already having a very high expectation from food grains. BIS Innovation Hub of the Bank of International Settlement, which is headquartered in Basel in Switzerland. And which of the following organizations have jointly launched the 4th edition of the G20 Tech Sprint 2023? So the answer is Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India, you can see G20 Tech Sprint, transforming cross-border payments. This was the theme, and they are working on different challenges, right? So they are inviting applications, and you can win some very attractive prizes. The shortlisted teams, they will develop their solution, and there will be a stipend of 8 lakh rupees. 8 lakh rupees is like $10,000 approximately. So the winners will get like 40 lakh rupees. The winners will get stipend will be 8 lakh to the selected teams. The winner will get 40 lakh. 40 lakh is around $50,000 if in today's market. Which of the following organization has released a report on currency and finance? Report on currency and finance. So you can see this is the report on currency and finance, and the theme is towards a greener, cleaner India. It is released by the Reserve Bank of India, and it is an extremely important report. The most important thing that RBI says is that if we have to meet our green financing requirement, lot of green financing we have to do, lot of investment into the renewable energy sector, solar power, wind power, hydropower. So if we have to meet our green financing requirement, then it is 2.5% of the GDP every year till 2030. So 2.5% of our GDP we have to invest in green financing till 2030 if we have to meet our climate goals. These are our 5 goals. We have to achieve it. So we have to become a net zero country by 2070. And all these 4 we have to achieve till 2030. These are what we call the Panch Amrit goals, which were said by Pradhan Mantri Modi during COP26 in Scotland in Glasgow. And Net zero we will become by 2070. Carbon emission we have to reduce by 1 billion ton. Then renewable energy, 50% of the energy consumed in India by 2030 should be renewable. And we have to reduce the carbon intensity of the economy by 45% by 2030. We also have to produce 500 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. So additional annual investment of 2.5% of the GDP by 2030 every year will be required to fill the infrastructure gap. This is a very important MCQ, very, very important. Now there were some other observations like India can lose anything from 3 to 10% of the GDP annually by 2100 due to climate change. 34 million jobs are in danger because of the heat stress associated with the productivity decline by 2030. Already we are seeing heat strokes and heat waves are there. Because of that, people are dying. Already 100 people have died in Bihar and UP. India is expected to recover from COVID in 15 years. Now COVID came in 2020, right? The first lockdown happened in 2020 and we will recover by 2035 financial year. So we will take 15 years to recover from COVID, right? And this also assuming that we will grow at 7.2% for financial year 23 and 7.5% every year beyond that. Then reducing the general government debt to below 66% of the GDP over the next 5 years is important to secure India's medium-term growth prospect. We have to bring our government debt down to below 66% of the GDP over the next 5 years. And then there are some other things. So for example, we have to increase the share of the green energy in India to 82% by 2070 if we have to achieve our goals, right? And we have to reduce our emission intensity by 5.4% every year because we have to reduce our carbon emission intensity by 45% by 2030. So we need to reduce emission intensity by 5.4% annually. India should also put a carbon tax according to the Reserve Bank of India. So how much carbon tax? Because this is a report by Reserve Bank of India, a report on currency and finance. So we have to put tax also, right? Carbon tax should be $25 per ton of cargo, $25 per ton of cargo and $50 per ton of CO2. $50 per ton of CO2 and $25 per ton of cargo. This also we have to put. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, they have introduced the legal entity identifier system. There are total how many alphanumeric characters in the LEI? How many alphanumeric character? So remember, LEI is now mandatory. It is a 20 character alphanumeric code and it is based on the International Standard Organization 17442 standard, which is made by International Organization for Standardization or ISO to identify legally distinct entity that do cross-border financial transaction. And Reserve Bank of India has mandated all the non-individual borrowers. If you are a non-individual borrower, which means you are a company basically, if you have an aggregate exposure of more than 25 crore, then you have to take LEI. You have to obtain LEI. It is mandatory for you. Very, very important. So if you have taken a loan of more than 25 crore, then LEI is a must for you. India's first international multi-modal logistic park is being developed in Jogi Gofa. Where is Jogi Gofa? So Jogi Gofa is located in Assam. And this park will be developed by NHIDSL in Jogi Gofa, right? It will have good connectivity with roadways, railways, airways and waterways. So this is multi-modal connectivity park. And total in India, we want to set up 35 multi-modal logistic parks. So this will be the first in India. Which of the following company has secured a pan-India telecom license? It is Zoom Video Communication. Zoom Video Communication has secured a pan-India telecom license. It can now offer telephone services to the customers as well as enterprises. Zoom is an American company. Zoom is an American company. Is that understood? Let's move on. South Korea and which of the following country they have signed a new framework arrangement concerning $3 billion of concessional loans from the Economic Development Cooperation Fund for the year 2023 through 2027? The answer is Bangladesh. South Korea has announced to provide $3 billion to Bangladesh for the construction of metros, for buying CNG buses, and for modernization of their railway signaling system. Which of the following organization has approved financing of $1.5 billion under the Country Partnership Framework for Bangladesh for this time period 2023 to 2027? The answer is World Bank. World Bank will give a loan of $1.25 billion for new projects in Bangladesh to help Bangladesh achieve greener and more resilient development and more financial inclusion. This will be given through the Country Partnership Framework. Which of the following country has announced to contribute more than $101 million to Brazil's Amazon Fund? Which country? The answer is Britain. Britain has announced to contribute $101 million or 80 million pounds to Brazil's Amazon Fund, which seeks to stop the deforestation in the Amazonian forest, which are the tropical rainforests. What is the name of the outreach program which was recently organized by the Ministry of MSME in association with NSIC Venture Capital Fund Limited under its Self-Reliant India Fund in the Northeast Indian states? So what is the name? It is called BizAMP. It is known as BizAMP. It's an outreach program and it was organized by the Ministry of MSME in partnership with NSIC Venture Capital, and this was conducted in Dimapur in Nagaland. Dimapur in Nagaland. And basically what they want to do is they want to finance the MSMEs. They want to empower the MSME for the northeastern states. Is that understood? So that is what they want to do. And SRI fund. What is SRI fund? Self-Reliant India Fund. Basically around 10,006 crore, more than 10,000 crore was put in SRI fund, also known as the Mother Fund, right? Mother Fund. So it is a investment fund, and you can also call it fund of funds. It has a mother fund and it also has a daughter fund. So the total corpus is 10,006 crore. Is that understood? This will be in the mother fund, and the daughter fund is basically a SEBI registered category 1 and category 2 alternate investment fund. Daughter fund are mostly venture capital and private equity funds. They are the daughter funds. Daughter funds will also invest in the MSME, and mother fund will have amount which is 10,006 crore. Understood? Which of the following company has bought Ecuadorian bonds worth $1.6 billion in a debt for nature swap, which is aimed at conservation of the Galapagos Islands? When Charles Darwin, British scientist, he went in his ship known as HMS Beagle to Galapagos Islands owned by Ecuador. Ecuador is called Ecuador after equator because equator passes through Ecuador. So what is the answer? Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse has bought Ecuadorian bonds. This will help in nature conservation. And when will these bonds mature? The bonds will mature in 2041. This will be the Galapagos bond. 2041. Let's move on. Recently, it was informed that India may consider joining the Climate Club. It is an environment initiative started by which organization? Environment Club is by the G7 countries which met recently in Hiroshima, and next year they will meet in Puglia in Italy, and the answer is Group of 7. They have high ambitious goals, and this club will be launched most likely during the COP28 which will take place in the UAE. Who among the following is the author of the new book called Made in India, 75 Years of Business and Enterprise? It's an extremely important book written by the former CEO of the Niti Aayog, Mr. Amitabh Kant. Recently, who has been appointed as the chairman of Power Finance Corporation, which is a Maharatna company? She is the first ever woman to become the chairman of Power Finance Corporation. Her name is Parminder Chopra. The answer is option A, Parminder Chopra. India Post, Confederation of All India Trader, and Tripta Technology, they have created which portal? This portal is known as Bharat E-Mart. Bharat E-Mart. CIT is association where more than 8 crore traders are a part of CIT. And if they want any services from India Post like courier, speed post or all of these services, they can avail on Bharat E-Mart. Understood? Now, Larsen Toubro has announced whom as their new chairman. The new chairman of Larsen Toubro will be Mr. S.N. Subramaniam. He will replace A.M. Nayak. Pakistan and China have agreed to extend China-Pakistan economic corridor to which country? They are extending it to Afghanistan. So they have a deal with the Taliban in place. China-Pakistan economic corridor extends from Gwadar port to Kashgar. Kashgar is located in China in Xinjiang province of the Western China. Understood? Recently, the three social security scheme, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana and Atal Pension Yojana have completed 8 years. They were launched by which ministry? All are the schemes by the Ministry of Finance. Very easy question by now. So in Suraksha Bima Yojana, you have to pay a premium which is only 20 rupees and there is a accidental death cover of 2 lakh. Also permanent disability 2 lakh because of accident and 1 lakh if there is a partial disability, right? And you have to be between the age group of 18 to 70. Now the next is Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. That's a life insurance scheme. The premium is 436 rupees per annum. Life cover is 2 lakh in case of a death because of any reason. Understood? You have to be between the age group of 18 to 50. And then we have Atal Pension Yojana administered by PFRDA. And Atal Pension Yojana, you have to be between the age of 18 to 40. You have to pay premium and you will get a pension when you retire. Pension will be in the multiples of 1000. Minimum will be 1000. Then in the multiples of 1000, maximum will be 5000. Union Ministry of Finance have notified the lowering of the threshold for e-invoicing to how much amount? So they have lowered it from 10 crore to 5 crore. In fact, when they brought e-invoicing, you will be surprised. You know, only those companies which had a turnover of more than 100 crore, they were required to do e-invoicing. Then they brought the amount to 50 crore, then lowered it to 20 crore, then they lowered it to 10 crore. Now they have lowered it to 5 crore. If you are a MSME or any company with a turnover of more than 5 crore, then you have to do e-invoicing to bring in transparency and prevent tax evasion. Nirmala Sitharaman, she recently chaired the 27th meeting of the Financial Stability and Development Council. FSDC is always chaired by the Finance Minister, and there are other important people also. The regulatory bodies are also represented in this FSDC. Which of the following organization has announced the launch of Innovative Finance Facility for Climate in Asia and the Pacific or IFCAP program? It has been launched by the Asian Development Bank and this is to fight the climate change. This happened at their recent meeting which happened in Incheon annual meeting in South Korea. So initial partners of IFCAP will be Denmark, Japan, South Korea, Sweden, UK and the US. But like other countries can also participate. Understood? Which of the following country has launched the gold-backed digital currency? It has been launched recently by Zimbabwe because of excessive inflation of their fiat currency. So the holders of the physical gold coins will be able to exchange or convert into gold-backed digital tokens. And in Zimbabwe, the official currency is the Zimbabwe dollar. Recently, Reserve Bank of India has announced the launch of 100 Days 100 Pays campaign. It is related to what? So remember, this is a campaign that is related to the unclaimed bank deposits. This campaign will be started or was started from 1st of June 2023. The balance in the saving or current account which are not operated upon for the last 10 years. There is a lot of current and saving account deposit which is untouched for the last 10 years that will be returned back to the whosoever owns it. Approximately 35,012 crore rupees is there lying with different Indian banks which is unclaimed deposit. So unclaimed deposit is any CASA deposit which is not claimed within 10 years from the date of maturity. So that is known as unclaimed deposit. Understood? And these amounts, what happens to that amount if it is not claimed? Well, that amount is sent to DEA fund. What is DEA fund? Depositor Education and Awareness Fund, which is maintained by the Reserve Bank of India. But obviously, even if it is transferred, you can always get it back. It is not like RBI will forfeit, or any bank will forfeit your money. RBI will not let that happen. Is that clear? So this campaign is about that. So this is basically a 100 days campaign. As the name says, 100 days, 100 pays. Is that clear? Who has become the CEO of Twitter, also now known as X? Linda Yaccarino is the new Twitter CEO. Which organization has given $82 million loan to India for animal health management and to prevent zoonotic disease. Zoonotic disease are what? Zoonotic disease are basically those diseases which are spread by animals. Is that understood? So those diseases are called zoonotic diseases. And this loan has been given to India by the World Bank. The answer is the World Bank. And this, campaign for improved animal health services will be in some states like Assam, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, and Madhya Pradesh. London Stock Exchange group called PLC, they have announced to set up a technology center of excellence in which city? So that will be set up in Hyderabad in Telangana. Direct question, nothing fancy about it, just remember it. Which of the following organization has announced to participate in the Global Financial Innovation Network Greenwashing Tech Sprint? Greenwashing, I've already told you what is greenwashing. Greenwashing is when a company claims environmental benefit of something that are not there. So Reserve Bank of India has invited firms to participate in the greenwashing tech sprint. The answer is Reserve Bank of India. And lot of international regulators will also participate in this. And Global Financial Innovation Network, GFIN, it was set up in 2018. 2018. So let's move on now. Recently, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, they have set up the Center for Processing Accelerated Corporate Exit in which state? It has been set up in Manesar, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, which is located in Manesar, which is in Haryana, Gurugram district. And Center for Processing Accelerated Corporate Exit has been set up in the campus of Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. So the answer is Haryana in Manesar. And who will be the first registrar? Dr. Harihar Sahu. Also note, it is launched by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, not by the Ministry of Finance. And what is the purpose of it? So the purpose of it is basically to help the companies in the exit process. A lot of startups, they shut themselves down. So it will help those startups in basically getting their name off the list of the company. Securities and Exchange Board of India, along with the Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, they have started an Investor Service Center in which city? Investor Service Center. So it has been set up in New Delhi. And it was inaugurated by SEBI whole-time member Mr. S.K. Mohanty. Which of the following organization has given a grant of 51 crore to Himachal for the development of traffic management system? Basically, World Bank has given this grant, and grant basically means that they will not take it back. So grant is like a unilateral transfer of funds, more like a gift. It is not to be taken back. That is the difference between grant and a loan. Who has become the CEO and Managing Director of National Investment and Infrastructure Fund Limited? And this is an important organization. It is an alternative investment fund. The answer is Rajiv Dhar. Rajiv Dhar, right? And NIIF operates as a alternative investment fund, category 2 alternative investment fund. Indian government has 49% stake in NIIFL, and the rest is held by foreign and domestic investors. Which of the following country has emerged as India's third largest exports destination? So the answer is Netherlands. So after America and UAE, Netherlands is the country where we export the highest. Number 1, of course, is America. Number 2 is the UAE. We have a trade surplus with America, that is we export more and we import less. And we have a trade deficit with the UAE. And we also have a trade deficit, in fact, huge trade deficit with China. So remember these things. And India also has a trade surplus with Netherlands. I mean, in the last year, we had a trade surplus with Netherlands in the financial year 23. So Netherlands is the third largest export destination now for India. Is that understood? Recently, the Reserve Bank of India has told the banks that they will not be using LIBOR from 1st of July. What is the full form of LIBOR? London Interbank Offered Rate. London Interbank Offered Rate. Full form is very important. And LIBOR, LIBOR was used as a interest rate when cross-border there was loan given by one bank to another. So if State Bank of India is asking for loan from Citibank, then the interest rate charged by SBI, by Citibank from SBI will be LIBOR. So, but now LIBOR will be replaced and there are other options that will be used. For example, SOFR, Secured Overnight Financing Rate. You can use MIFOR, which is Modified Mumbai Interbank Forward Outright Rate. You can use even the MIFOR, that is Mumbai Interbank Forward Outright Rate. So, but LIBOR will not be used. Is that understood? So let's move on. Who among the following has become the first woman to become the chairperson of Competition Commission of India? Who is it? So remember, it is Ravneet Kaur. She is the first woman ever to become the chairman of Competition Commission of India. India and which country have jointly launched the 50 Startup Exchange Program? 50 Startup Exchange Program is between India and Bangladesh, and this is to promote collaboration and exchange between the startup ecosystems of the two countries. European Union has approved the acquisition of Activision Blizzard gaming company by which company for $69 billion? The answer is Microsoft. And Microsoft has also acquired one more company called Nuance Communications. Nuance Communication recently was a very big acquisition done by Microsoft. And Microsoft has launched their Copilot, which is a artificial intelligence powered chatbot. World Economic Situation and Prospects Report mid-year update has been released by which organization? So it has been released recently by the UNDESA. What is UNDESA? United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. And please don't get it confused with World Economic Outlook, which is released by the IMF, or Global Economic Prospects, which is released by the World Bank. This name looks remarkably similar. UNDESA, United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. This report says that India's economy will grow by 5.8% in 2023 and 6.7% in 2024. Reserve Bank of India has announced the withdrawal of the 2000 currency note from circulation. It was introduced under which act? So it's a nice question. You have to remember the section. Section is more important. RBI Act 1934, Section 24(1). Section 24(1) of the RBI Act of 1934. And printing was already stopped for these notes in financial year 2019. And RBI launched the 2000 note in 2016 when demonetization happened for the 500 and the 1000 rupee notes, right? That were in circulation at that time. And 2000 rupee note, they don't comprise much of the value in circulation. They represent around 10 to 11% only of the total currency. Is that understood? And Reserve Bank of India has given a healthy profit to the government of India. So this amount you have to remember, it is very important. 87,416 crore. This is the surplus that will be transferred by the RBI to the central government. In the financial year 22, this amount was only 30,307 crore. So they have made it almost 3 times. They have made it almost 3 times. Another important decision taken by RBI is that the contingency risk buffer earlier was 5.5%. Now it is 6%. 6% of what? 6% of their balance sheet. So contingency risk buffer is as the name says, emergency fund. Contingency risk buffer is kept by the Reserve Bank of India for any contingency, any emergency, like any disaster or anything happens in the market. So for that, contingency risk buffer is kept by the RBI. So that is now 6%. And according to the recent notification, international transaction up to how much amount will not attract the 20% tax collected at source, which is done by an individual using international debit or credit card. So remember, the amount is 7 lakh. If you are spending the amount internationally up to 7 lakh, then you will not be charged, tax collected at source 20%. Is that understood? And because these transactions will be considered as a part of liberalized remittance scheme. Now, in liberalized remittance scheme, you can send up to 2,50,000 US dollar per annum. So if you spend up to 7 lakh, it will be considered as a part of this 2,50,000. You don't have to pay any separate tax from that. And in which year liberalized remittance scheme was started? It was started in 2004. 2004. Recently, the WPI in India has fallen with a deflation rate of minus 0.92 in April. It is released by which organization? WPI. This is a nice question. WPI is released by the Office of the Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce. And the CPI is released by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, the National Statistical Office. Right? So do remember the difference between WPI and CPI. What is the base year for WPI? The base year is 2011-12. For CPI, the base year is 2012. That is the difference. Another difference is that in CPI, we also consider services. So it is for both products and services. Whereas WPI is only for products. Services are not included when calculating the WPI. Understood? Who among the following has become the chairman of Data Security Council of India? Data Security Council of India is basically an important organization. Genpact founder Pramod Bhasin has been appointed as the new chairman of Data Security Council of India. Is that understood? And Data Security Council of India is an organization floated by NASSCOM. NASSCOM. A consortium led by Tata Consultancy Services, they have received an advance purchase order valued at 15,000 crore from which of the following government companies for deployment of 4G network across India? So this is a order given by BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, the government sector telecom company. 15,000 crore order they have got from, TCS has got from BSNL, and they will help in deployment of 4G network across India for BSNL. Which of the following country has become world's largest exporter of cars in the first quarter of 2023? The answer is China. China has overtaken Japan in the first quarter of 2023 insofar as the export of the cars is concerned. Here you can see these are the top 10 Chinese vehicle exporter. SAIC, even Tesla is manufacturing lot of cars in China. Which company has introduced Jugalbandi, which is a AI chatbot for the rural India? So it has been launched by Microsoft. It is a AI chatbot for rural India. And Jugalbandi is a term used by Indian musicians for collaboration, especially in the classical music. And they will use the Azure platform. So this is based on the Azure platform. And this is a part of AI for Bharat initiative, which is led by IIT Madras. It is led by IIT Madras. And Jugalbandi was first given to the people in Bhiwani. Now Bhiwani is a district in Haryana, but now it will be released in the entire country. The pilot testing was done in Bhiwani. So Jugalbandi was first introduced to the villagers in Bhiwani. And now you know that there are 22 languages in the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Out of that, for 10 languages, it will work for now. Is that clear? So Jugalbandi uses Azure OpenAI service model. Now Tata Consultancy Service, they have launched something known as TCS Generative AI with the partnership with Google Cloud. They have done a partnership with Google Cloud. Is that clear? Let's move on. Which of the following is the only Indian company to feature in the top 50 list of the most innovative companies that is released by the Boston Consulting Group? So the top 50 companies, only one, Tata Group, is there among the top 50. Tata Group is there. The most innovative company in the world is Apple. And what is the rank of Tata? Now here you can just see the list and try to find Tata. I'm also doing the same. So Tata is ranked at 20th position. Which of the following Indian city has emerged as one of the top data center markets in the Asia Pacific according to Knight Frank's Data Center Q1 report? Not a very important question, but still you should do these questions because you should know what is happening in the world. So you can see Shanghai, Tokyo and Mumbai, right? They have emerged as the top. So in India, the answer is Mumbai. The answer is Mumbai. So Mumbai, around 2,337 megawatt worth of data centers are already established. A report called Thriving, Making Cities Clean, Green and Inclusive in a Changing Climate has been released by which organization? It has been released recently by the World Bank. It has been released and World Bank analyzed around 10,000 cities worldwide, right? 10,000 cities worldwide, and this is basically for calculating the greenhouse gas emission and all of these things, right? Who among the following has been elected as the president of CII for the financial year 24? R. Dinesh. He will replace Mr. Sanjeev Bajaj, right? Sanjeev Bajaj, of course, is the chairman of Bajaj Finserv. So, R. Dinesh will be the new president of the CII. CII was set up in 1895. It is in New Delhi. India and which organization they have signed a $141 million loan agreement to support the development of internal infrastructure in Andhra. Who is giving this very important loan to Andhra? The answer is Asian Development Bank. So a lot of industrial nodes, etc. will be created in Andhra, and this will be used for that. PM Modi has unveiled the commemorative coin of which denomination to mark the inauguration of the new parliament building, which was a part of the Central Vista project. So this is a 75 rupee coin. 75 rupee coin. And you should know more about it. So for example, this coin is made up of 4 metals. 50% silver is there, 40% copper is there, 5% nickel and 5% zinc is there. The diameter you should know, 44 millimeter is the diameter. And in English, Parliament Complex, and in Hindi, Sansad Shankul is written. Who among the following has been elected as the president of Internet and Mobile Association of India? So it is Harsh Jain. He is the co-founder of Dream Sports. He is now the chairman of IMAI. Global Wealth Conference will take place where? Global Wealth Conference basically will take place in London by the Sovereign Wealth Fund Institute, SWFI. The answer is London. Which has become the first municipal corporation in India to use CBDC? The first municipal corporation in India to use CBDC is actually the Patna Municipal Corporation. The answer is option D. And CBDC is a legal tender and it is the same as the fiat currency, but it is exchangeable one-to-one with the fiat currency. Only difference is that it is in digital form. Who among the following has been re-elected as external auditor of the WHO? He is already the external auditor of the ILO. His name is Girish Chandra Murmu. He is the CAG of India, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Grouping has agreed to set up IPEF Supply Chain Council, Supply Chain Crisis Response Network and Labor Rights Advisory Framework. Total, how many countries are a part of IPEF? So 14 countries are a part of IPEF as of now, and many countries may join in the future, but as of now 14. And basically IPEF was launched in 2022 by mostly India, America and some of these countries. So India was also very interested. Obviously the main player is America. The main player in this is America. Now there are 4 pillars of IPEF, and out of the 4 pillars, 3 have been joined by India. Only the trade pillar is remaining. Supply chain, clean economy and trade and tax evasion, fair economy, all those pillars are joined. Trade pillar negotiations are going on. Which of the following organization has launched a new country partnership strategy for India to focus on climate resilient and inclusive growth? So the answer is Asian Development Bank. Asian Development Bank has launched a country partnership strategy for India to focus on climate resilient and inclusive goals. According to the recently released periodic labor force survey for January to March quarter, what is the unemployment rate in the current weekly status in the urban areas? Unemployment rate at the moment for persons who are above the age of 15 in the urban area was 6.8%. It declined to 6.8% in the January to March 2023 quarter. However, the urban labor force urban labor force participation rate, LFPR, for all ages, it was 38.1%, which is still very high. The urban labor force participation rate, I mean, it is low. It should be more because we want more labor to participate, but urban labor force participation rate was just 8.1%. Is that clear? And periodic labor force survey is published by National Statistical Office, which works under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Who among the following has become the managing director of the UCO Bank based in Kolkata? So the answer is Ashwani Kumar. India has extended the $1 billion loan to which country? This was already agreed upon earlier. So India has extended it for another year. This is a loan given to Sri Lanka. Most of the loan was not utilized. It was unutilized. So now Sri Lanka has more time to utilize the loan. Which of the following state has achieved 100% household coverage under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, which was launched in 2014? So it will complete now 9 years very soon. The answer is Telangana. In Telangana, every person who was eligible for having a Jan Dhan account now finally has a Jan Dhan account. Is that understood? So Telangana has achieved 100% household coverage of banking services through Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. In Jan Dhan Yojana, you get 10,000 rupees overdraft and you also get 2 lakh rupees free accidental insurance. According to the recently released data by the NSO, what was India's real GDP growth rate in the financial year 2023? India's real GDP growth rate was 7.2%. The answer is option A, 7.2%. And India's real GDP growth rate was 9.1% in the financial year 2022. Is that clear? What about the nominal GDP growth rate? Nominal GDP growth rate for India, actually in exam they only ask real, but okay. Nominal GDP growth rate in financial year 23 was 16.1%. And you subtract inflation, you adjust inflation, so it will become 7.2. What about the GVA growth? So GVA growth was 7%. 7%. Is that clear? And let me also tell you the growth rate in the agriculture sector in financial year 23. So in agriculture sector, it was 5.5%. In manufacturing sector, 4.5%. And in the services sector, it was 9.5%. RBI has approved which of the following company for acquiring up to 9.99% of the paid up share capital or voting rights of HDFC Bank? This of course is SBI Funds Management Limited. They can acquire now 9.9% of the paid up share capital or voting rights in the HDFC Bank. This has been approved by the Reserve Bank of India. Is that understood? Reserve Bank of India has sanctioned the merging of Maratha Sehakari Bank Limited, and Cosmos Cooperative Bank. So both of them will be merged. Who among the following has been appointed as the managing director and the CEO of Karnataka Bank? So the answer is Shri Krishan Harihar Sharma. The answer is option D. And this is a bank that is headquartered in Mangaluru. Also, ICICI Bank, they have reappointed Sandeep Batra as executive director. Which of the following bank has collaborated with National Payment Corporation of India to roll out face authentication for AEPS, that is Aadhaar enabled payment system? Face authentication. Airtel Payment Bank has collaborated with NPCI for the same. Airtel Payment Bank was the first payment bank in India. Pine Labs has partnered with which bank for the acceptance of the digital rupee, e-rupee, on its point of sale terminal? Pine Labs has collaborated with ICICI Bank. Which of the following has become India's first bank to relocate Mauritius domiciled Alchemy India long-term fund to the gift city in Gujarat? So which bank has done it? The answer is Kotak Mahindra Bank. Kotak Mahindra Bank has relocated Mauritius domiciled Alchemy India long-term fund to gift city in Gujarat. Agri-tech company Rucart has partnered with which bank to enable easy loans for its cold storage system called Sabji Cooler? Agri-tech firm Rucart has partnered recently with the State Bank of India. The answer is SBI. Which bank has launched India's first LED debit card under its premium banking program called Privy League? This is an important question. India's first LED debit card. So it has been launched for rich people, high net worth individuals, and it offers 75% discount on priority basis. It has been launched by Kotak Mahindra Bank. IRDAI has made a 5-member committee on matters related to mental health and insurance. Who is the chairman of the committee? The chairman of the committee is Miss Pratima Murthy, She is the director of NIMHANS, National Institute for Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, which is located in Bangalore. And this is basically to advise IRDAI about mental health insurance. Is that understood? Very important committee. Which state has launched a app called eChits? eChits app. It is an electronic service delivery system to regulate chit funds through online transactions. So the answer is Andhra Pradesh. They have launched a mobile app called eChits. And this is to prevent any chit fund scams which are very common. Union government has appointed the 3 merchant bankers, IDBI Capital Market and Securities Limited, Bank of Baroda Capital Market Limited and SBI Capital Market to manage the IPO of IREDA. So IREDA is undergoing IPO. That's all you need to know. IPO is of course primary market. You go to IPO, you get you get your company listed, then it is called a public company. Public company is the company which is in share market or which has undergone a IPO. So IREDA is undergoing IPO. It is a mini Ratan company now and headquartered in New Delhi. Which company has launched India's first mutual fund which is focused on the defense sector? It's a nice question. This is HDFC Asset Management Company. They have launched HDFC Defense Fund. This is India's first mutual fund that will invest in the defense sector. Zomato. Zomato has partnered with which of the following bank to introduce Zomato UPI? Zomato UPI. So Zomato has partnered with ICICI Bank to launch Zomato UPI. According to the recently released The Wealth Report by Knight Frank, there are total how many billionaires in India? Total how many billionaires? Billionaire is a person who has $1 billion or around 8,000 crore rupees. So the answer is 161. 161 according to Knight Frank. In percentage term, which of the following public sector bank had the highest net profit in the financial year 23? So I already told you it is the Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra. In terms of the profit, it made the highest profit. You can also call it a bottom line. And Bank of Maharashtra, the profit was 126% profit increase, in percentage. Then second was UCO Bank. UCO Bank was 100% profit, 1862 crore. Bank of Baroda had a 94% increase in its profit. It made a profit of 14,110 crore, but percentage wise it was third. In absolute terms, if I talk about State Bank of India was number 1, it made a profit of 50,232 crore. So highest profit was of SBI, right? SBI had a 59% increase in its profit. Understood? So these are the highly profitable banks, right? There are other banks also which had a profit of more than 10,000 crore. For example, Canara Bank. Canara Bank posted a profit of 10,604 crore. It's a very healthy profit. Startup Incubation and Innovation Center at IIT Kanpur. It has signed a MOU with which of the following bank to provide financial supports to the startups? So Startup Incubation and Innovation Center, SIIC at IIT Kanpur has signed a MOU with Yes Bank. With Yes Bank. Yes Bank is the bank which has the highest number of shareholders in the entire country. Ploch, the SaaS firm, has partnered with which bank to launch an open network for digital commerce focused payment solution which is known as NodePay? These type of MCQ questions are frequent. NodePay. NodePay has been launched by Ploch and IDFC First Bank. IDFC First Bank. Which of the following bank has partnered with Manipal Global Academy of BFSI to launch Future Bankers Program? Future Bankers Program has been launched by HDFC Bank Limited, India's largest private sector bank. And it is a pan-India recruitment program for transforming young graduates into banking professionals in just 1 year. The Competition Commission of India has approved UBS Group proposed acquisition of Credit Suisse Group by way of an absorption merger with UBS being the surviving legal entity. UBS is a bank in Switzerland. So UBS and Credit Suisse. UBS is acquiring Credit Suisse. Tide, it is a United Kingdom based fintech. In partnership with Transcore, it has launched India's first recycled polyvinyl chloride RuPay card, along with MCT Cards and Technology Private Limited and NPCI. PVC cards are more durable than paper-based card and can last longer, and of course it will promote circular economy. So Tide company is a British fintech company. It has partnered with Transcorp to launch India's first recycled PVC card. SEBI has made a committee, 21-member intermediary advisory committee, who will be the chairman. So a very important and a very nice question. This committee will be headed by Mr. S. Ravindran, Intermediary Advisory Committee. So it will advise SEBI on legal framework and increasing transparency in stock exchange and clearing corporation, etc. Which of the following bank has emerged as the best bank for management of bad loans, with its net non-performing asset decreasing to 0.25% during financial year 23? Again, it is Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra is the best in everything. Look at the net non-performing asset ratio. It is less than 0.25%. It is 0.25%. This is the lowest ratio among all the banks, which have a total business of more than 3 lakh crore, including private sector banks. Even private sector banks don't have that low non-performing assets. Is that clear? So then we had the HDFC Bank. The net NPA ratio was 0.27%. So it was the second best after Bank of Maharashtra. And Kotak Mahindra Bank, 0.37% was the net NPA ratio. Now, if you talk about the public sector banks, the like in public sector Bank of Maharashtra, because HDFC and Kotak Mahindra, they are private bank. After Bank of Maharashtra, which public sector bank has the best NPA ratio? It is State Bank of India, 0.67%, which is again a huge deal, 0.67%. So let's move on now. Which of the following company has launched Turbo UPI? So Razorpay has launched Turbo UPI, and Razorpay has partnered with Axis Bank for the same. Which of the following bank has unveiled its new logo and launched a campaign with the tagline Life Ko Banao Rich, which means make your life rich? It is launched by Yes Bank. Yes Bank now has a new logo and brand identity. Is that clear? So Yes Bank new logo, you can see it is made up of red and blue. Which of the following bank has been empaneled as a clearing and settlement bank with the Indian Clearing Corporation Limited? So the answer is Indian Bank. It can now facilitate banking services to the members of the Bombay Stock Exchange for clearing and settlement purposes. Which of the following bank has emerged as the largest buyer on the government e-marketplace portal? Canara Bank is the answer. It is the largest buyer on the GEM portal. GEM portal is run by the Ministry of Commerce, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce. So Canara Bank purchased maximum from government e-marketplace portal. Punjab National Bank was the second. PNB was the second largest. PNB purchased around 164 crore and Canara Bank made a purchase of 592 crore, which was the highest. So it's a very, very important question. That was a video for Banking Awareness Current for the month of May. This time there were a lot of factual questions. So, but again, they have to be done. I have included only what was important for you, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming exam. I think it is on 2nd of July, IDBI Bank. So I wish you all the best for the same. Thank you for watching Study IQ Premium.